Hi friends, Jen here with my latest book review in the All Roads Lead to Betsy series, and the book I read and loved over the past 2 days. I mean, I could not put this down. It's called Beth Is Dead by Katie Bernet, and it's a YA, brand new. I'm thinking it was, wow, I should be much better prepared, huh? Yeah, 2026. So, brand new. Okay, Beth Is Dead, YA murder mystery. Can you guess who Beth might be? Let me give you a hint. She's got 3 sisters. They live in Concord, Massachusetts. It's Beth March. Beth March has been murdered, and this is a modern day story. And it's told from the alternating perspectives of Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, because the chronology moves back and forth between the present and the past, and it's, oh my gosh, I couldn't put it down. Beth has always been my favorite March sister. I'm an outlier. I know most people like Jo, but oh my gosh, I love Beth. I love Beth. And so it was so fun to get to hear from her and have her be the star of the story. As we often observe in the Betsy books, it's really fun to hear Betsy described by another character like Carney or Winona or Emily. And it was very fun to see perspectives on the sisters from each other's eyes. So I loved it. I loved it. I mean, of course, it's terribly sad because, spoiler, Beth dies. But, fans of Little Women may not have been so surprised by that. Everyone's got secrets. Everyone is behaving a little badly. Lots and lots of familiar names. Lori's there, Sally Gardner, John Brooke, the Hummels, just lots and lots of people that we all know, those of us who love Little Women. So if you never ever want your childhood classics messed with in any way, then this is not the book for you. But if you're willing for some wild liberties, I loved it. It was recommended to me by my dear friend Shelley Harris, who's a librarian in Oak Park, Illinois. She recommended it to me and Liz Norton, and we are feverishly reading it this week. So I was so excited to finish it last night. I'm just going to say I guessed who the murderer was, and I texted Shelley halfway through. But that's, part of the fun is guessing and trying to figure it out. But I gotta say, I really wanted to do a video about this because I loved it so much, but I had to think hard about what Betsy-Tacy book it made me think of. And when the really obvious answer came to me, I think you guys are going to laugh at me. But I mentioned that the girls have secrets, and I also mentioned that the girls don't always behave very well and make some dubious choices that results in trouble and mayhem. It's this book. Yep, this is the book that so many people in the series, they say, I love them all. I can't pick a least favorite, but if I had to pick a least favorite, you're going to hear this title come up a lot. Betsy makes some bad choices in this book. The sorority turns out to be not a good thing at all. It leads to Betsy closing off the possibility of friendship with girls that she might have had a wonderful friendship with. And in fact, she does. She ultimately does become very good friends with Hazel Smith, a girl who's indirectly snubbed a little bit in this book, and Betsy makes her feel bad. And it's not at all what Betsy intended, but when she realizes what she's done, she's horrified. The worst thing of all, of course, is that Betsy neglects her 10-year-old sister, and it leads to an incident that could possibly be, the outcome could have been terrible. It's ultimately fine, and I have some feelings about that, but it absolutely can be argued that Betsy does not make the best decisions in this book. I have to say, I get a little defensive about this book because it's my favorite in the series, partly because it's one of the ones my library didn't have when I was growing up. And so I went straight from Betsy in Spite of Herself, which confused me very much because my library also didn't have Heaven to Betsy, and Betsy and Jo. So I had a lot of questions about what was happening in between there. And when I found this one, oh my gosh, it was so magical. And also, I just think this book is fun. I love the fun Betsy has in this book with her girlfriends, because that is exactly my high school experience. Fun with my girlfriends, trying to distract me from the fact that the boy I loved was not interested in me at all, which is what I see going on in this book, that underneath all that silly sorority fun and giddiness with her friends, and her and Tib being back, and Tib being such a great playmate, and the fun they have with Cab and Denny, and what a rollicking foursome the four of them are. Betsy's sad. She's sad in this whole book because the thing she wants most of all, to be going with Joe Willard, isn't happening. And it's not because Joe's busy or poor or the other excuses she's made in the past years. Joe chose somebody else. He didn't choose her. So she's pretty sad. And Julia's sad in this book too, because she's also not getting the thing that she wants most of all. So I see two very sad girls distracting themselves, and that just rings very true to me. Maud writes about it so perfectly and poignantly. And I also feel like that terrible chapter that ruins the book for so many people, the Betsy Margaret Stove chapter, I think once we get past Betsy's thoughtlessness, she wasn't mean to Margaret. She wasn't deliberately trying to ruin things for Margaret. She was thoughtless. She was a 16-year-old girl who spent a little too much time with her friends and didn't come home to the 10-year-old, whose mother left her alone, by the way. And then she steps up. And we see Betsy Ray at her finest at that moment. She steps up and she takes care of her sister and she throws that party. So she learns from her mistakes in this book. I mean, what we see in all the series is Betsy kind of learns from the same mistake over and over, but she gets there eventually. She's 16, you guys. Anyway, I love this book and I think it's the perfect companion to this one. To rollicking reads with also some sort of intense and sad things happening. I hope that you will give Beth Is Dead a try, and I hope that you will read Betsy Was a Junior again with new eyes and maybe think about the fact that she's 16 years old, and really look at that scene with Margaret and how she steps up and makes the situation better. I bet you $1 million that when Margaret looked back on her life at that moment, if in fact this happened in real life, you know what? I don't know if I know. But I bet her memory of that day is ultimately a happy one, because she got to have the party and her sister did come home and all was well. Anyway, those are my recommendations. And also please admire the super pretty crisp book cover I have, which we are selling in the Betsy-Tacy shop. And my book is actually, pretty old, but the cover makes it look so gorgeous. All right, that's enough from me. Thanks for watching.